Hello, everyone, and welcome to Agulhas Current Affairs, a marine science podcast set in southern Africa with me as one of your hosts, Dr. Yanis Giston of Geekoscopy, alongside
Dr. Nelson Miranda of Argonaut Science. And today we are working on the good old-fashioned hierarchy, hey? You can't escape it.
You can't escape the hierarchy, especially when it comes to figuring out what are your favorite things that entertain you. And one of those things in the age of social media are memes. The next one is kind of like the opposite take. I think I just used this one to represent. But there's also a lot of downsides to marine biologists, and like one of them is like danger. Obviously, sharks are very actually low-level threats probably when it comes to the ocean. Like just like seawater is dangerous enough to like overtake sharks. But yeah, the meme is I overestimated like the benefits of being a marine biologist with this like megalodon thing, which is I don't think great whites don't get that big, right? That would be terrifying.
No, a perception.
And then under that,
It could be a trick of the camera. If the
maybe perspective thing.
So if the shark's very close to the camera, it looks big, and every shark looks big if it's very close to you. And most people find it terrifying. It doesn't matter what shark it is. But the fact is that actually most sharks will not harm you. And in a very unlikely situation where sharks could harm you, you really need to make a lot of mistakes to put yourself in harm's way when it comes to sharks.
Yeah, for sure. And the second, because this is a double meme, the second part is the lot of benefits of being a shark.
Yeah.
Which is you get to chow down on people. And in that vein, there probably are a lot of benefits to being a shark, because sharks are one of like the oldest evolved species that are around. Like sharks as a thing have existed longer on this planet than trees.
Yeah.
Like on trees.
That's right.
So like...
And they're crazy diverse.
Think about like how good must you be to have been around that long in that form, you know?
And as a grouping, they've been very inventive in terms of adaptation. I mean, the kinds of sharks that don't exist anymore that we know from fossil record. I mean, the crazy mutations and adaptations, and I mean, there's things that don't look like what most people will call a shark, which is this idea that most sharks look like massive great whites. They don't. Mm-hmm. Most sharks do not. In fact, millions of different kinds of sharks have existed that look nothing like sharks. We would struggle to identify those things as sharks because they are so amazing at adapting to the environment.
For sure. So, like evolutionary, there are many benefits to being a shark. There's just so much of them, and they've been around for so long. So that part of it, I would give it an A.
Yeah.
And the first part is also a bit funny. Like you overestimate the benefits of being a marine biologist, which is also very, I think, like there's a bit of realness to that in terms of like actually what you might be doing on a day-to-day as a marine biologist, which is like sitting in front of a computer doing stats and writing a paper.
Yeah, and then
so there is an air of truth of overestimating the benefits.
Could be. Yeah, I think
I would give it an A.
I think it's a good slapstick sort of view on memes, you know, especially if you know that it's a joke. And I think an A is good. I think most people would relate to it. It's recognizable, you know. I think and I like the thought process of reversing things. Yeah, I think it's interesting.
For sure. This next one is kind of I think a bit I interpreted it a bit deeper, coming from like a scientist point of view. Like it falls into the category of like doing like random things underwater, like being on a computer and stuff. So it's this guy like lifting weights, like bench pressing. underwater, and that's one of the many benefits of being a marine biologist. The funny thing about that is that if you want to lift that amount of weight, being underwater helps you because of like buoyancy. So it is a benefit to lifting that weight. It doesn't help you to build muscle because now the amount of like tension you're putting the muscle under is less because of that buoyancy. So like for me, like that double thinking made it a bit funnier.
It is funny.
Yeah.
But hold on. I mean,
I don't know if that was the intention though.
But hold on. Have a look at this setup. That's not so easy. Have you ever tried to bench press whilst holding your breath under the water? You know, like
No.
this is a serious. This is like something could go wrong there, and I hope someone's spotting this dude, because whoever's taking this course is not doing a job as a spotter. And I'm fearing for this person's safety. And, and like, even though you would have a slight decrease in the amount of weight, you have all this, you have to hold your breath, you have to get into position, and you can then bench press for sure. And it's quite a demand on the body as a whole, actually. So this you might actually get quite a workout from this, And it's definitely
from a cardiovascular standpoint, I think you got a point.
I mean, look at this. He doesn't have an athletic build. Let's add to that as well, which adds to a little bit of the how funny it is, But even though he doesn't have an athletic build, if this is his routine, my goodness, this guy's a warrior. He's not an athlete, but he's a warrior.
For sure. He's one with nature, this guy.
Yeah, I think it's...
I would put this...
Yeah, you go.
I would put this at a B.
Yeah, me too. I was about to say B as well. Yeah, it's a B.
Yeah, I think it's got everything you need as part of this meme to make it work. So the next one, talking about doing things underwater, this doesn't have like a human in it. But it's a representation of all like the sexual versions of this meme, which usually has to do with it's usually like a person with a fish enjoying the company of a fish, whereas like a person like enjoying the company of like a mermaid. So this one in particular is funny because it's like a fish that's like kissing a statue of a man, which is probably is like chowing down on the algae that's growing on it. So like it's beneficial for the fish, I think. It's just a funny one where it's like, okay, that's not really a benefit. None of those things are really a real benefit.
Yeah.
But it's a part of meme culture. It's funny.
Yeah, it's really funny. I guess it plays on the idea that marine biologists could be kissing fish, and that it's friends with benefits, I guess. But in this case, it's a statue, which is kind of interesting. I like it. It's cute, and it makes me think about sunken things and the value of some wrecks for building a reef. And there's a lot of projects around the world where certain structures are sunk or built, so in this case this is a statue, so even artists can build underwater art, and that can have a benefit in certain areas of the world. It can prevent destructive fishing methods such as netting, which people won't be able to net in that area because now there's statues around, and then statues attract an alternative, tourism for an area. So that's kind of cool. I would put this. I would also give this I'll put it probably an A. I'll give this an A. I like it. It's one of the best ones.
All right. I think this one in particular, I think is an A. But I think the general like romantic ones are probably like most of them are B tier.
Seems above.
The next one is very near and dear to me as an aquarist for my day job, and it's a dude sitting in his office, and his office desk is an aquarium with lots of stuff in it, and he also has 2 aquariums on the side as if the desk wasn't enough. He's got 2 just by the wall.
So the desk,
and it's like this guy's a
the
boss.
desktop is a pane of glass, like tempered glass, right? And then on it is assorted stationery, everything that you can think of for a normal office, you know. I think he's sitting there on his normal office desk with the plaid shirt and holding a mug, and he's just looking at the camera, deadpan, you know. But then below the desk, I would say there's like several aquaria, you know. There's different aquaria below the desk. It looks like he's surrounded. It looks like he's sitting on the aquarium. It looks like he's sitting in the water. You know, that's how it's built around him. And everything's lit up, and you can see that it's, you know, there are different specimens in the aquaria, different algae and corals. So it looks like a marine system, a saltwater aquarium. I think it's really funny. It plays on that whole idea that, you know, oh, the field is my office. That's not true, you know, by the way. You know, as scientists, we don't have offices actually, like in the field. Like we don't sit in the water answering our emails, generally speaking. But in this case, yeah, this guy's office is pretty cool. So this I think is an S tier meme right here. I mean, it's a solid A at least, but I would imagine this would be your office. If you could have an office as an aquarist or a marine biologist,
if I could help it, this would be my office. Yeah, it probably would be a nightmare to get anything done in here. Everything would be like wet and soggy, and like I would not want to put any real electronics near this much like salt water.
No. You'll notice that there isn't really any electronics. If you look carefully, there's no electronics whatsoever.
If this was like your like reading room and you're only like taking maybe like paper, at most, maybe. But yeah, it's one of those things where it makes no sense, but it's so cool at the same time.
No sense. But it works. As a meme, it works.
Definitely S tier. I agree with you. That would be.
And I mean, it's a dream as well. Probably a dream we should never actually execute, but a dream nonetheless.
And the thing is, it is a benefit because you could learn how to pull that off. Like if I wanted to pull that off, I could. It just would make no sense, but I could do it. It's within my layer of expertise as a marine biologist, so it also makes sense that far. I think these are like the most serious-ish ones, and this next one is tied to the previous one in the ways that you get to work with animals, and one of those things is feeding the fishes. So I think in terms of seriousness, one of the benefits is either keeping or just working with animals, marine animals, particularly fish in general. This is a particularly funny, like, picture which adds to the meme. So for me, this is probably at least a B. Probably a B is fine. What do you think of that?
I wouldn't rank it too high. Not all marine biologists are about fish and feeding fish.
It's true.
But and I myself have never fed fish professionally, so I don't know if I'm qualified to assess this.
I'm sure you fed snails, though. You fed something professionally.
Oh, yeah. I mean, professionally, I fed snails. I fed all sorts of invertebrates. But we always drew the line at things that have what we would call a brain, you know? So for ethical reasons and other reasons, I just haven't developed that side of things. I mean, we've worked with fish, but never feeding them, you know?
For sure, definitely. I think beer is the most, not beer, to say beer, wow. B is the most and least it can get. Just in terms of that picture in particular is funny. But in general, that is a benefit. One of the other meme benefits is that you get to sign off your emails with best fishes instead of best wishes, which I don't know if I have ever personally done it. I know my supervisor has. But it's one of those things you can do as a marine biologist. That is a benefit. Sign off your emails as best fishes. What do you think, Nelson?
I mean, not me, but it is funny.
Yeah.
It is funny, and there's lots of wordplay, definitely, and T-shirt worthy ideas. Lists of T-shirts ideas. Every marine biologist must have a list of T-shirt ideas just at the touch of a button. If I open mine and I go, let's say, I want not best fishes, because again I don't work with fishes, but working at the snail space. There's a play on that because I work on the snail space. We measured the way that snails. For example, another one that's really funny is a T-shirt that we came up with that says crab conscious. Instead of carb. So that's a very a very deliberate misspelling of carb.
I think
so.
Like a lot of marine animals have very funny names, like names you could just pun. There's a lot of fish with this very punnable names.
And here's a funny thing about fish is that not all fish are actual fish. There's the cutest fish in the ocean, the cuttlefish. Cuttlefish. That's also a play on words, which is also really mollusk. Shellfish, that's another name for mollusks. And in fact, by law, when they say fish, they mean basically everything, not necessarily just teleosts or
taxonomically, it's everything is fish. So there are a lot of people who argue that most things, if you have 4 limbs, you're probably a fish. Where would you rank this stuff? I think this is at least a C.
I think it's cute. It's a C. Yeah, I would say it's a C. It's very niche.
You're right, where the majority of marine biologists are not going to be fishermen or fishy. But
maybe they are. I don't know. You could. It's cute. It's certainly cute.
Yeah. But the thing is,
and you're allowed to do it.
Yeah, you don't have to be a marine biologist to do that. You can sign off all your emails with best fishers, and then nothing is stopped. You don't need a degree for that. Yeah. I mean, if you're a fisherman as well, it also makes sense.
But I mean, but not too much with the hierarchy, Yeah. All fish are important,
Yeah.
Not just the best.
Yeah.
Who's to say? Anyway.
It's cute. It's more the online interaction that's the meme here. It's just the tweet itself is not a benefit. It's somebody that's commenting on the tweet. It's this is one of the many benefits you get of being a marine biologist. This is something you could do.
That's true.
I think the last one is the most serious. We talked about consultants before for media, but there was actually a marine biologist that went on to create a kids show about underwater things, and that was the creator of SpongeBob.
Are you ready for this? Yeah.
Oh, do you have something else? Give it to me.
No, I was gonna say, are you ready, kids?
Are you ready, kids? Yeah, for sure. It's and I think his net worth is there, but I can't see it because I'm looking at. Do you have the full picture?
I can see it. I can see it. It's definitely in the millions, millions of dollars, US dollars, because and it's 120 million at some stage, allegedly.
Allegedly. Does it have his name there? I don't remember his name.
Yes, Steven Hillenberg.
Steven Hillenberg. Alright, I'll try to commit that to the memory archives. Which, I also remember there was a famous poet who started off as a marine biologist. The guy who did the White Cliffs of Dover, I think. Can't remember his name. But I think there are a few people throughout history who started off being a marine biologist, and they were maybe there's not enough benefits. I should do something else.
I mean, I think that's the funniest thing about all of these. Okay, well, first let's rank it. Where would we put the creator of SpongeBob's?
I'm gonna say it's at least an A, maybe an S tier. What do you think?
I would say it's an S tier. I mean, just the knowledge that this marine biologist just went on to become, like, I mean, it's a household name, this SpongeBob SquarePants. Everyone has heard of that internationally.
Which went on to spawn a show that is probably the most memed show on the internet.
Yeah, it's S tier for sure, and I mean, it's like that net worth amongst marine biologists is probably also
He's the 1% of marine biology.
Wow, I mean, come on. And we were saying that the funniest thing about all of these is that there are actually, you know, not many benefits really to being a marine biologist as a career, generally speaking. If you were to look at it objectively, there's the joke right there, you know.
Yeah. Especially if you're living in like a third world place and you don't have, there's no unions for marine biologists. I mean, you might have like university employee unions, but in terms of like general benefits like medical and dental, it's probably not the best, and the pay is probably not the best. It's definitely a career that you do that's more inclined to, yeah, you want to enjoy the other benefits of like working with the ocean and with like marine life and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that marine biology in general is not a career choice where there are a lot of benefits. You know, if you happen to be in a place like a first world country where there's already structures and institutions and you could get medical cover and insurance, wow, you know, then yeah. But dental, generally speaking. Wow, dental, wow, come on. But generally speaking, it's definitely a joke. There aren't many benefits actually. You know, it's not a career where, you know, it's just going to be a lot of perks and benefits. It's generally a career where there's likely to be dangers and hazards most of the time.
Yeah. I mean, the shark thing was kind of a joke, but there's plenty of other hazards that I think we've mentioned on the show before, like me getting electrocuted. I mean, there's probably tons of things with diving, like it's not just sharks, like you just keep yourself alive.
Yeah, we mentioned already, you know, just the water could be danger, you know, there are some, you know, even as we're considering the setup of some of these memes, we thought, wow, this is, you know, safety, guys, safety, was there safety considered? I also think it's really funny that we mentioned Bioshock, and that was basically, you know, it's funny for you because, you know, the danger of electrocution, you know, it was very real for you at some stage when we were working.
Yeah, with that's why there wasn't a laptop or a computer in that dude's office with the marine tanks. Very bad idea.
I think a marine biologist would definitely notice.
Yeah, for sure. I think we should end off in that funny / dark joke and call it there. But it was a fun little chat, at least, about the many memes that you can get or understand if you're a marine biologist. And if you want to send us your favorite benefits of being a marine biologist meme, you can do so at Agulhas Current on Twitter or Agulhas Current Affairs on other social media platforms. If you want to look for me, particularly, I'm at Geekoscopy. And what about you, Nelson?
And I'm at Argonaut Science. That's the Argonaut octopus, and science, the subject.
The subject. Well, thanks so much for joining, and cheers.
Cheers, everyone.